Hello everybody and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Guapish Rule 34. As always, I'm your host Tanner, and today I'm joined by my super special co-host, Nico.
Hey there folks, we would just like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the indigenous lands of the
Chumbawamba tribe.
Of the Multnomah, the Calamit, the Clackamas, the bands of the Chinook, the Tualatin tribes, okay? You know, we stole their land a long time ago, and we just want to make sure everyone understands that.
Yeah, we want to know that people know that we're sick as fuck like that. Also joining us is our resident Native American, Jackson.
Honolulu.
I think that was just confusing enough to not be racist. Also joining us, Dylan.
Oh, I don't get a special intro. I'm just.
Were
here,
you
guys,
ever told that you're part Native American by like a grandparent or something, Dylan?
You know, it might be in there somewhere, dude. I'm so many different cultures at this point. Who really knows what I am?
Mm-hmm.
Donate to our Patreon. We'll have Dylan take a 23andMe, and we're going to find out just what he is. We're going to read it live on air.
Oh yeah,
That's
we were
right.
gonna do that, weren't we?
The most boring content imaginable. Guys, I have a fun little topic I wanted to bring up.
Do you like video games?
Do you like video games? Specifically the beginning parts and none of the rest of it? Yeah, I want to ask about great game openings. Openings to games that you guys think are great. And, I'll go ahead and...
definitely, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2, Skyrim, Half-Life, that was a really good one as well. Mass Effect 2, Witcher 3, I really like that one as well. Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, that one's pretty sweet too, I really like that one. Uncharted 2, that one's pretty sweet. You know, Last of Us Part 2, God of War, God of War Ragnarok.
Say Uncharted 2, you stupid fuck.
Don't be so fucking basic, Tanner, come on, man.
Whatever, are you done? Can I do the topic?
Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to say one of mine before, so you guys had a little time to think up some, okay?
Dude, I just gave so many great examples.
I think the one that immediately came to mind for me is Batman Arkham City, where you start out not as Batman, no, but as Bruce Wayne. You're being walked into the prison, like, lockup system, and then you play as Bruce Wayne and beat a bunch of guys up.
Isn't that Arkham Asylum?
No.
No?
That's Arkham City.
Whoa.
Well,
Arkham Asylum is you're walking in as Batman with the Joker.
Okay.
And I never played Arkham Asylum, so I don't have any personal experience with that one. But yeah, I think the opening to Arkham City is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. I can agree with that.
Nico, what's one that you actually believe in?
As what I actually believe. So I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. I've definitely told you guys about it, though. So, Far Cry 5. I've never touched a Far Cry game before, okay? But I've seen the opening for Far Cry 5 before. And that shit goes so fucking hard, okay? Now, if you are unaware, what it is you're just like a member of the police force, okay? You're going to raid this cult compound, all right? And you go in there, and you manage to find the dude, the big head leader, man. You take him to a helicopter to, like, whisk him away, all the while, like, all of his fucking acolytes are yelling and screaming at you, these peons. And as you're trying to take off, they start clambering onto the helicopter, and one of them gets up into the fucking blade and takes the whole thing down. And it's a mad dash trying to get out of there and escape, all the while all these fucking cult heads are chasing after you. It's fucking insane. It's really sweet. It's super cinematic, really atmospheric, you know? It's fantastic, because, you know, yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I enjoy hearing things about, like, cults and shit like that. So seeing this shit, it makes me want to play the game, even though I fucking hate everything Far Cry stands for.
Yikes.
Crazy.
Speaking of Far Cry, one of mine was going to be Far Cry 3, because it also has a pretty sick opener of, you know, you're just a bunch of fucking kids going on, like, a little vacation in the Caribbean. I don't know exactly where they're doing it, but they fucking land in an island with a bunch of pirates, and they get kidnapped, and you literally see, like, your fucking brother get executed in front of you, and you have to make, like, a mad dash through the jungle to try to escape. I think it's really well done. I think it does a good job setting the stakes for everything, building up the story, and it's a fun sequence.
Do you know the definition of insanity?
Yeah, Boss is a cool guy.
It was pretty close, actually. You should be a voice actor. Dylan, what's one you got?
Oh, I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think of some, but none of the ones I can think of are as high octane as your guys's.
I mean, that's fine. Just say one that you like.
I like the Gears of War intro. Specifically when they remastered, so they did Gears of War Ultimate Edition where they remastered the first Gears of War, and it's kind of just like it opens up to a world where the first thing you see is like the wretches, which are like probably the lowest forms of threat in that universe. But it's still like, you just got Marcus, he's in prison, you don't know why he's there, you got these things scuttering around, you got Dom to break him out, Jack's ripping open the door, and you're like, whoa, why is this guy in here, what's going on, what's this world about, what are these creatures, and then you just, I like how they can, one thing they do well is introducing gameplay with like tutorials, but having you progress through the story as if, you're doing it normally and not playing a tutorial, so that's one of mine.
Nice. The other one that immediately came to mind for me was the opening to Doom 2016.
Ooh.
Where it just opens up with that fucking narration where it's like, in the first age, in the first battle, blah, blah, blah. And then it kicks into the fucking rip and tear song, and your guy rips himself out of his fucking sarcophagus, and he starts breaking skulls open.
Yeah.
And it's just the metal blaring, and you're running around, and blah, 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 blah.
Damn, that was the obvious
sweet,
answer,
dude.
too.
Yeah, it's like another one here. This is going to be stretching the definition of intro a little bit, but like, it's fucking like JRPG or whatever, so you gotta be a little more lenient with the definition there. So, I'm thinking of Xenoblade Chronicles, okay? So, in this game, all right, you're going about your general life, okay? You're a young little scientist boy. You're hanging out with your pals. Your good friend Ryan. Your little girly friend Fiona. She's pretty sweet. And you're just like, you're kicking some ass. You're fighting off some monsters or whatever. It's a gay old time. They're your party. They're your champs. Your buds. It's fantastic. And then, some big fucking mechanical threats invade your small little sleepy town, and your girl Fiona, she gets murdered before your very eyes, and she doesn't come back. She's just fucking dead now. You see the blood dripping off of the robot's hands as it skewers her. It's fucking insane, and it gives you the drive to be like, oh my god, I need to beat the rest of this game now. I need to commit several hundred hours to this game so I can find out how I can kill that guy. It's really sweet, and I'm a big fan.
It's pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Right?
Jackson, you got another one for us?
Yeah, along the lines of Nico saying it's a JRPG cop-out answer, this one is not like an opening in the sense of like it's like some cinematic like experience you're going through at the start of the game, but Final Fantasy XIV's A Realm Reborn.
Dude, that intro sucked ass.
I'm not talking about the one where you're fucking talking to Hyla and she's like, here, feel, and she's a big fucking crystal. I'm talking about like the actual intro to A Realm Reborn, which sets up the story.
Where you fight the big tree.
No, I'm talking about like the fucking opening cinematic where you're basically getting the TLDR of where the game's starting from. You've got the Eorzean Alliance go against the Garlean Empire in a big, massive, like Lord of the Rings-esque war in front of you. You've got the fucking Red Moon Dalamud in the sky, the fucking big key holding it in drops, and fucking Bahamut comes out and starts just destroying fucking everything, and then you see Louisoix come and fucking capture it in like a massive like magical sphere, and eventually Bahamut breaks out and fucking blows up everything too. It's just fucking sick. It really sets the stage for like where you are. You get to see a lot of the characters from the story as a part of it. You get to see, Louisoix is a massive part of the story. He's fucking dead from that cutscene, but his remnants kind of stay out throughout the rest of the game. It just sets up everything very well. Also, there's like the lore thing that connects it to like the 1.0 version of the game.
Dude, speaking of key, that reminds me of another one of mine. Kingdom Hearts 2, okay?
Oh, hell
Dylan's
yeah,
gonna
brother.
know this shit, okay? This, once again, this is several hours of gameplay for the intro. But hey, at the end of it, you finally get the big title screen that says Kingdom Hearts 2, so I'm counting it, okay? It's the intro.
That's fair enough,
Where
I guess.
you're just palling around. This boy Roxas, he's not Sora. He's not the main character. What the fuck is this? But you're just palling around. He kind of looks like Sora, And you're just walking around your town. You're having fun with your buds, okay? But there's some weird Twilight Zone-esque, like Twin Peaks strange happenings going on in your little sleepy town. And as it turns out, I don't exist? What? This entire town was made to just like house this other guy's fucking memories or some shit, and I'm not a real person? What the fuck is that? Oh well, I guess. Hey guy, I guess my summer's over. Time for your adventure to begin. It's fucking sweet. It brings a tear to my eye as I see that poor boy Roxas realize that he's not fucking real.
Based?
Well,
Damn, that shit's crazy.
Right.
Dylan, you got another one?
I do.
What is it?
It's an answer you guys probably would have expected, but I chose
Skyrim?
Gears of War first. No, I mean Skyrim's
Destiny?
intros. Finally, you're awake. Yeah, it actually is Destiny, but it's more of a outside looking in kind of thing. Like looking back on the intro now, you're kind of
What, the one in the fucking factory?
what in the factory?
From the first Destiny, you wake up, you're in a Russian factory.
You're not in a Russian factory. You're outside.
You're in Russia, it's some kind of
Yeah,
factory.
you're in
Yes.
Russia. You walk a few meters and then you're in a factory.
Right.
It's a wall. It's not a factory.
Whatever.
I
Anyway,
don't
that
want to
intro,
explain this anymore.
you know.
You guys killed it for me. Move
You're
on.
right.
I agree with Tane. It's not a very good intro.
I didn't. You didn't.
If you said
it's not
Destiny 2, that's a much better intro.
Well,
like the
but
original
Destiny 2
one, where it's a fucking siege on the tower. This place that you knew for years in the original Destiny.
Yeah, let me explain Destiny 2 then, since it's the same vein. Basically, you're just out on a patrol flying around in your ship. Next thing you know, Cabal, which are like this big old like elephant race of the game, just fucking decide to swoop down into the tower where you kind of have your safe space. You keep all your weapons and shit, and everybody's safe and collaborates there. They start blowing shit up, and like they set up a bubble that protects everybody. You like fly in, everything's on fire. Your god is being encapsulated, and you're just fighting shit. Everything's on fire, and then you lose your powers and you fall like 500 feet off of this wall, of probably more than 500 feet to be completely honest, and just crash down on the ground, and you're stumbling powerless through the forest, and anything that can kill you is like super harmless, and if you die permanently. So it's like super, like the stakes are super high. It was super emotionally charged and like, you know, like stressful in its own way. I fucking love that intro though.
Yeah, that shit sounds way cooler.
I don't know, the Destiny 1 like beginning, looking back on it, means a lot more to me now that I've come to the end of the story.
It's just so
fair
nostalgic,
enough.
you know. It was humble beginnings. Much like Frodo in the Shire.
I want to give a shout out to what I think is a decent tutorial intro where it very explicitly is shit where it's teaching you the buttons and whatever.
Super Mario
And-
Bros. Stage 1-1. Jump in that Goomba? Holy shit.
No, that's gonna be Spider-Man, the first Marvel Spider-Man. Where you
The
get
one
a
where you're in
little-
like a fucking void and there are just a couple of buildings while a sassy narrator's talking to you.
What?
I'm talking about the PS2 Spider-Man.
Okay, shut up. No, because I forget what exactly happens at the beginning. I assume it's some nonsense Spider-Man dialogue, and then he hops out the window, and boom, you're in a chase against some bank robbers or some bullshit.
I wish you mentioned that like a 360 Spider-Man instead, where like the voice acting is really terrible, and the QuickTime events, like one of them at the very end of like the tutorial stage, you can like rescue this woman who's like about to die in a fire, and if you fuck up the QuickTime event, you just fucking face plant on the ground right next to her, and she says, "I'm going to die," and then there's an explosion that kills you both.
Oh my
Isn't
god.
that just Mary Jane?
No, it's just some random woman.
What?
That shit sounds awesome. You're right. I should have played that
It's
one.
such a big meme, dude. How did you not know about it?
The fuck are you talking about?
Don't worry about it, Tanner. Never mind.
Okay.
It's a pretty well-known one.
I only asked you guys to have two in mind, so you got, if you got any others, throw them at me.
No, that was it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Uncharted 2, though? Now that's a crazy intro, okay? You're on a train, you're dangling, you wake up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm on a train, they need to climb up the train, and it's really scary, and it's like, could I fall? I might be able to. Can you actually die in that? I'm assuming you probably can't. But there's the threat there, you might be able to die.
Oh yeah, dude. The first flash forward ever in video games, that's probably not true, but go with it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to shout out that opening area in Breath of the Wild. That
Whoa.
shit slaps. What a great way to introduce you to old mechanics of the game.
Yeah, I want to shout out the opening era in Ocarina of Time, where you're just a little boy, you're walking around, you're exploring, and then it's like, Deku Tree! That's crazy! And you go inside of it, he just, he swallows you up, and you fight a big old spire parasite that's been in him, and then you kill it, but then the Great Deku Tree dies anyway. It was too late, you weren't able to save him.
Kind of
True.
cringe he would die like that, to be honest.
Whoa.
Okay, that's all the ones I wanted to mention.
Majora's Mask as well. That's another crazy one. You're just riding through the woods on Epona, and then the Skull Kid appears, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna jack your fucking little ocarina there, and your horse guy. He's gonna jack you off." Then he fucking leads you into a little creepy cave. Then he turns you into a shrub because you are a shrub, you scrub. And then you have to go through this weird creepy village, and the moon is there, and it's got a big old smile on its face, plastered on up there. And you have to do a series of little tasks to get your ocarina back, and then you turn to a real boy again.
We're just gonna throw Twilight Princess in there while we're at it?
Dude, no.
Oh, I figured I'd ask.
Oh, you know what? I was being cringe. I should have mentioned the first Last of Us. It is iconic. We have to do it.
Dude, the second Last of Us is just as iconic, though.
Damn, I'd have to fucking think about that one. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can abide by it. I'm looking at a list here to see if there's any I missed. The Force Unleashed is a good one. That game kicks ass. Did you guys play that game?
No.
Dude, the one where you're playing as
PlayStation.
Darth Vader in the very beginning, you're taking like all these ships straight out of the sky. That's crazy. That's the second one, probably.
Yeah, I think that's probably the second one, fortunately. I think all the rest of these games it has mentioned I have not played.
Dude, Pokemon Red and Blue, where you go in, you fucking almost walk into the tall grass, and Professor Oak's like, "Hang on there, pal, you're about to die if you do that." Then he brings you over to his creepy little lab, and he's like, "Pick a Pokemon, pal." And you pick one, and then your rival's like, "I'm gonna pick the stronger one, though." Then he kicks your ass, and you're all sad and dejected, and you stop playing the game.
Yeah, I think it's funny how Pokemon flopped from your rival choosing the stronger of the starters against yours to the weaker one, as if that makes any sense, but...
They want to make it easier for you. I like how in Sword and Shield they introduced the, like, oh, hang on, though. This other guy is going to pick the actual stronger Pokemon, and then he's going to be a real final boss at the end of the game. I thought that was neat, at least.
That's fun.
Yeah, a little
Also,
silly.
in fucking... Like, in Sun and Moon, that's where they introduced that sort of thing. Like, at the very least in that one, like, the champion... He's the fucking, like, professor who gives you the Pokemon. He keeps that Pokemon that neither of you got, which is the stronger one against you. And so he just, like, trains it while you're out doing your shit. And I think that's still a fun idea then, you know? You still gotta go up against him, and it's literally the final guy who's using it, so...
Right.
That is pretty
That's
neat.
something people oft forget, I think.
This list just gave me another video game idea. So what's like a game series that you guys have not interacted with at all that you think you probably would love?
Horizon
and the one
Zero
that made
Dawn.
me...
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay. That's a good answer. You think you'd be into that one? It does have dinosaurs in it.
I don't know.
You're into dinosaurs.
I like the concept of it, and I think it looks pretty great, so...
I played the first one and enjoyed it.
There we go.
The game that I looked at that made me think of this is BioShock. I have a feeling I'd be a massive fan of the BioShock games, but I have not touched any of them.
I just restarted the first one recently. It is super good. I remember loving these games.
They are pretty sweet. Tanner, have you ever played any of the Wolfenstein games?
No.
Those seem like they'd be right up your alley.
I'm also not much of a shooter guy, though.
You were just talking about Doom earlier, how you really like the intro to Doom. You're just saying how you'd be really into BioShock.
Listen, I really like Doom 2016, but like that's a pretty immaculately crafted game, you know?
I don't consider those shooters either, though, Nico. Not in the traditional sense.
What are you
Not in the
talking
traditional
about?
sense. Well, because Doom, it's more like just pull the trigger and things die, more like. And in BioShock, you have the choice of guns or not guns. And most of the time I choose not guns, so that's why I also don't consider that one a shooter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Doom not being a shooter.
Yeah, I guess someone else go instead of me. I need to really ruminate on this one.
Jackson, what's a gaming series you think you'd love, but you haven't touched?
I don't know.
This guy literally only plays Final Fantasy and nothing else matters.
I can't think of anything.
Bummer.
Jackson, you seem like a Kingdom Hearts kind of guy, you know that?
Why would you
That's
say
like-
that about me?
I
It's kinda
disagree.
fucked up.
I don't think he would
insult you
be.
could ever give someone.
Because if he loves Final Fantasy so much, he loves Square Enix games, and Square Enix made Kingdom Hearts, therefore it just makes sense.
The problem is it's really hard for me to get into like fully single player games. I think any series that is like just entirely single player, I'm not really gonna fuck with like long term. Or I don't know if I can ever truly like love it, maybe. It's been a long time. Back in the day, maybe I would have been more into it, but nowadays it's hard for me to get into single player games.
Dude, World of Warcraft? Bless Unleashed?
Why are you just naming more MMOs?
I don't know, because they seem like they're up your alley. I guess they're not considered game series, so never mind.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm chill.
All right.
Funnily enough, I'm like the complete opposite of Jackson. I've really fallen off of multiplayer games at this point. I just prefer playing through single player ones.
Oh, I know, Nico. You left me high and dry on Xbox.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like playing games with other people now. I prefer my nice little single player games where I don't need to coordinate anything with other people, and they're much more tailored experiences to my pleasure.
Fair enough, I guess.
Have any of us really played Mass Effect?
Yeah.
I played
a lot of Mass Effect 3. I don't really know what types of games you really like is the big thing. I don't really have a big read on your style of games.
I mean, I've said this before,
Tanner.
I think Dylan would really love Mass Effect.
Yeah, I've been told a couple of times to get into Mass Effect to at least play 1 through 3 and maybe nothing beyond that. Which I think there's only Andromeda after that, so...
I have actually thought of a couple. I think that if I finally found the time to carve out for it, I'd enjoy the Persona games quite a bit. As well as Devil May Cry. I think I'd enjoy those as well. I haven't touched them, but I think I'd like them.
Persona was actually the series that popped into my head initially, but then I was also like, it's turn-based. Mostly I just get into it for the story, because I've heard the stories are fun. And
yeah, that's exactly what I would get into as well.
I don't care for turn-based shit, and it's a single-player game, but I could maybe see myself liking that, too.
Yeah.
Nico, have you not played Persona?
No.
Oh, see, because when Joker came to Smash, you got super excited, and you made it seem like you'd, played the game or were invested in Persona in some way.
I don't remember doing that at all.
I don't know. You were super into Joker for some reason, dude. I don't remember what that was about.
He was the first DLC character, dude.
I guess that's fair. I guess I can't chalk it up to more than that.
He was new. He was shiny.
True.
He had a
seemed like
cool
your
fighting
kind of person.
style.
Very true. He has his own final smash screen or whatever you call it, the victory screen. That's what it was.
Oh, this is kind of cheating, but fucking... Oh, god damn it. Why did it completely leave my head now? Drakengard. I think I'd enjoy Drakengard quite a bit. Specifically a third one, not any of the other ones because I hear they're bad, but Drakengard 3 I think I'd like, just because it's
I heard Drakengard 3 is also bad, though.
In
a funny way.
Yeah.
That randomly makes me think I'd probably... would I? I don't know. Actually, I was going to say the Yakuza games, but I don't know if I think I'd like the more recent turn-based ones, but maybe not the older ones where it's basically beat-em-up style fighting and then, wacky bullshit.
That's shocking, dude. You're saying you'd enjoy the fucking turn-based ones more than the older style? That seems like the complete opposite of what I understand about you.
What do you mean? I'm a huge turn-based guy.
Dude, you literally said you hate Pokemon.
I didn't say I hate it, but Pokemon just isn't my thing. I fucking love Fire Emblem, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, where's the disconnect going on there then, man? Why wouldn't you be into Pokemon even though it's turn-based, but you think you'd be into the Yakuza turn-based?
I don't know. So I just don't like... something about Pokemon, the way it works, it doesn't click with me.
I don't like being able to collect these little creatures. I want them to be free.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I want men, damn it.
Well, lucky for you, Tanner, in the new Yakuza games, these turn-based ones, there is actually a full-ass other mode where you're collecting men like Pokemon.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence on if I should give Final Fantasy as an answer, because I don't know if I would actually like that if I played it.
Yeah.
Because I do like turn-based shit, but I historically have not had a great track record with JRPGs.
Yeah, I think my only turn-based game that I like to play is probably Pokemon because, I'll play Civilization, but I'm not good at it. I'm not a strategist, so when it comes to turn-based stuff, like in Pokemon, I usually just get attack moves only, which I guess is how majority of people play anyway, unless playing competitively.
Who the fuck would use a move that doesn't do damage? What's up with that?
Also true, which is why if I get a move in Pokemon that's like, oh, you do damage, but also you get a speed boost, or also their defense is lowered, or something stupid like that, I'll usually go for those, because that's kind of 2-in-1, basically. But yeah, I tried Fire Emblem and all that stuff, and it's just in those you have to strategize and use, hindering moves and boosting moves and everything, so you can maximize everything, so you take less damage and do more damage, and I can't vibe that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe that's it for me. Maybe I like, positioning-based, turn-based strategy games and not move-based or whatever you want to...
Have you considered just exclusively playing 3v3s?
3v3s would be a good idea. Rotation battles. That'd be a good one.
Rotation battles, there we go. But get them on black and white.
There we
Dude,
go.
have you considered coming in your own mouth?
I don't know if that's possible.
Come on.
I don't want to.
Dylan, you gotta like take those pills that increase like your projectile strength.
I'm good, dude. I
Yeah.
think I'll pass. I don't think I need it.
That increase the ropes that you're able to shoot out.
But, like, why would I need it, though? For what purpose would that accomplish?
I don't know, it's fun, I guess.
It's not fun.
Don't knock it till you try it, man. Just quit yucking my yum over here.
It's
Nico?
all
Yeah.
yuck.
For $1 million, would you try a perfectly measured out, safe amount of fentanyl?
What the fuck?
For $1 million?
Yeah, like you are guaranteed by the man giving it to you that it is the
Who is
exact
this
amount.
man? Just like some guy on the street?
Yeah, some guy on the street. He walks up to you and he's like, "Hey man, I will give you this $1 million. This $1 million in it's a big briefcase full of hundreds. You can fucking check them all yourself. If you take this much, fentanyl." And he's like, "This is the exact amount that will not kill you."
That seems like a lot of fentanyl. Well, the problem is once you take an amount of fentanyl, then you have $1 million to buy $1 million worth of fentanyl, dude. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, Taylor, this is especially, like, ill timing considering we recently lost Tanichi, and, like, fucking, I know none of you are gonna really
aware.
I just don't think you guys are gonna want to say this sort of thing. But I'll take the bullet for us. America has a fucking fentanyl problem. Okay, like I'm gonna be the brave one here, and I think that this is just it's bad taste, quite honestly, to present this sort of a question to us.
I think America has a fentanyl solution, and that solution is fentanyl.
No, I don't know about that.
I'm a fentanylic, dude. I'm
Oh,
all about
no.
that fent.
But yes, I will be taking the $1 million. Life's too short, man. Why not give it a try?
Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys. Since we're on the topic of like video games, and soon enough here, we'll be talking about like, reviewing movies and shit like that, maybe, if you guys are up for it. I don't know.
Whoa.
So I'm sure you guys are very plainly aware that there's this this major bias generally towards typically when you see something getting reviewed, like generally the lowest you'll be seeing it drop down to is a 7 out of 10. And I'm just curious as to why exactly you think that is.
Because of the American education system. If you get anything lower than a C, you're basically failing. So people take that as like the average rating.
That is a very solid point.
It's possibly that. I also think a fairly large factor is just that only really already fairly well-known and popular games are going to be getting reviewed. Like, mostly stuff that is being developed by actual studios or indie games that, like, have some hype around them are going to be getting reviewed by, the people that are putting those scores out on the big websites. So you're kind of already biasing yourself towards stuff that has some level of quality control to it.
Yeah, plus on top of that, if you think about it, after this gaming company gets their game reviewed, and if the score is low enough, you're not gonna advertise that your game wasn't received well from the critics. You're kind of gonna want to just...
I mean, this is what the critics are just rating them in general, though, Dylan.
I know, but I'm just imagining if anybody sees a score lower than a 7, they're not really gonna be super hyped to buy that game, though, because then they're like, oh, well, that game doesn't look... So then at that point, what's the point of advertising it?
I don't think the man understands the question.
I don't think so
That's
either.
how I interpreted the question. I don't know.
The question is why is 7 like the lowest a critic will review games?
Yeah, why is this going to be like the baseline, Dylan?
Oh, not even okay. We're not.
Yeah,
even
not
talking
like
about
why
TV
is it being
commercials.
advertised that way? Why is that the rating that they tend to get?
I don't know. Maybe because they're getting paid to rate these games higher.
Oh, hang on a second. He might be onto something here.
Whoa! Did I uncover the true meaning of this topic right now?
Christmas.
I mean, I'm sure that does have a part to play in all of it, Like,
Okay.
oftentimes, these reviewers are getting review copies and shit like that. And so if they rate a game super poorly, maybe those companies aren't going to be quite as willing to give them review copies in the future,
Yeah, that makes sense to me at least.
I do think that just generally, though, a lot of people do tend to think of kind of as, like what Jackson was saying, that like a 7 out of 10 is like the average.
Yeah.
It's like a very skewed, like, upward scale where, like, no, 5 is not average. If you're getting like a 6 or a 5, that's just a bad game right there, which I think is just quite ridiculous, honestly. It's like, well, we always want to think of, like, something's like, good. Like, I have some complaints with it, but it's not bad, okay? Like, it's good. I can see effort was made here, but yeah, for some reason, 7 is what people decide to level on there.
For some reason, gamers are using girl math for their review scores.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of in that same vein, this could mean absolutely nothing to you guys. I just want to put that out there. The game scores that or I guess the review scores they put out sometimes where they just keep adding decimals. Like, I've seen it go out 2 decimal places. Like, sometimes games will get like an 8.95 or something stupid like that. I just find that completely unnecessary. Like, I figured with the solid
What's different about that than our movie rankings, huh? It's just changing the format. I'm just flipping the script on you.
Well, because we're not looking at numbers, Jackson. We're looking at letters. There's a difference.
Yeah, but let's convert those numbers into, or let's convert those letters into numbers, and then also flatten the scale to a 1 to 10. And what does that get? Decimal points.
Jackson, did you ever consider that we are better than those other people who use those decimal place scoring systems?
You convinced me, you son of a bitch, you've done it.
I do actually think this does extend to tier lists as well, though. B tends to be like the average that you see in a lot of things, especially our rankings, you sons of bitches.
See, I always thought C was average, though, and then you guys are like, no, B is like what an average movie would be, and I never
is whatever you want
way.
it to be. I mean, in terms of just like straight up direct rankings on like, given the amount of tiers we have, B- and C+ are like the objective averages, but it's also dependent on how you're looking at this tier list. Like, some of us, I know, have mentioned that S tier kind of doesn't really become a part of the rest of the tier list. It's mostly just like, this is a special tier for goated movies, and then everything else is just a regular tier list, and that would mean that flat C is like dead average.
Right.
It just depends on how you're looking at it. We have different viewpoints on how we interpret our tier list.
Yeah, like if you were just to take out S and F tier, then you'd just be left with, D through A, which would, like you said, put B+, or...
It'd still be B- C+ in that.
Yeah, that, whatever. So either way.
Yeah, it's just like, like these B's and the 7s of the world, they're just real, like, comfort scores, it just feels good to just, like, put something there and be like, yeah, I think I did good work here today.
I do think this is just selection bias.
Yeah.
It could just be a participation award.
Have you
I
considered
disagree,
that most games
Tanner. I
are
hard
just
disagree.
a 7 out of 10? They're all just pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I think the games that are getting reviewed by the major game sites are going to, on average, tend to be good, yes.
Yeah, that's what IGN said in that video where they explain why they give out so many 7 out of 10s. But fuck you, I disagree.
I mean, is that what's your... Because, like, you acknowledge the reality that they are not, diving into the depths of Steam and finding dog shit to review, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what counter-argument do you really have to the selection bias thing?
I mean, I think they can help to, like, avoid provoking some stronger reactions from fans and shit like that, like, with backlash and such. I think that a 7 is a very diplomatic choice, as it were, to minimize that sort of thing.
Sure. It's fair enough.
I guess so.
I'm going to pull back the veil here a little bit, by the way, with our own tier list and the rankings that we've done in the past. Initially, when we were doing this crazy Guapish at the movies thing here, I was planning on making it so that I would never put a movie in the B ranks. Because I wanted to really take a stance with my feelings, okay? That, like, I was just going to push whatever it was either into C or A tier.
Why?
That's kind of unrealistic, my guy.
Yeah, as it started to pan out more, it became far less realistic. But I feel like,
How long did you actually do that for?
I don't think I ever actually ended up doing it. Okay. It was something I thought about doing, but
the very first movie we watched was like, God damn it, this is a fucking B tier shit.
There's no way of reconciling it. I have to put it there. Just because I think that it's much more interesting to place a firmer stance on one way or another, So, like, if we were to transition over to, like, a numerical rating, I think I would try and avoid putting anything in the 7s for that same reason.
I think that's kind of stupid, to be honest.
But it makes for a much more interesting review, I think.
I guess, because you're now forcing yourself to find additional positives or negatives.
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna start putting restrictions on each other's rankings, like certain people cannot put movies in certain tiers for the week. Or
Dylan is
something
no
like that.
longer allowed to put films in S tier unless we all agree that it can go there.
God damn! I said per week, not permanent.
Dylan gets 1 S tier per month, and
There we
that's
go.
it.
That's bullshit. You know I'll rank at least 2 of them. They've become less prominent nowadays. You guys have to at least admit that much. I even moved some out of S tier.
True.
There we go. It's all absolved.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Are there any people that you are enemies with, but they don't know it? Like, you consider them a foe of yours, and they're just completely unaware.
It's time
No.
for me to come out. Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Damn it, Jackson! I played Final Fantasy for you. How dare you?
Exactly. I want to play Scholar, and you keep taking it, you son of a bitch.
You can play Scholar. I'll play Summoner, dude. That's fine. You can swap roles, I guess.
That was a very short-lived rivalry there.
Crazy.
Yeah, when I walk out into the world and I need to, like, you know, be a living participant in the society that we all call home, I'd say that every single other person participating in it is my enemy.
Okay.
They may not be aware of it, but they're actively doing harm to me.
Dang.
Real Jason Bateman right there, eh?
Listen, buddy. They are inconveniencing me just by being there, and I quite honestly, I don't appreciate it very much.
What about the people you inconvenience, Nico?
Fuck them.
I was about to say, I don't think that
Fair
changes.
enough.
Them existing is causing me inconvenience, so they are the progenitors of the original sin here, alright? Not me.
Yeah.
What about you, Tanner?
I wrote this down thinking of back in elementary school, there was this Romanian kid that I fucking hated, and
Yeah.
literally for no reason. It was like a real, actually felt hatred, but he had never done jack shit to me. There was no reason behind it whatsoever.
Yeah, I remember you telling the story where, like, you had to go to his house at some point and you just sat there on the couch stewing in your vitriol.
Yeah.
Oh my
Funny
god.
shit.
Yeah.
Very immature of me, but hey, I was fucking 11.
Oh, yeah, no. Makes
So,
sense, I guess.
whatever. And to this day, the Romanian people are my enemies.
Those sons
Oh,
of
yeah.
bitches.
Wait, I thought it was
Sons of bitch.
Armenian people.
Huh?
Both.
No, I'm cool with Armenians now. We made up. Fuck
Oh, yeah?
Azerbaijan, though. Those guys can suck my dick.
Alright, so here's one last thing I'll bring up here to the class here, just in case. You know, we may cut this out in case, like, you know, there have been no further developments in here. But Tanner, have you really been following the like Ladder with Crowder situation whatsoever here? Do you still watch him on occasion, or?
Nah, I stopped watching him when that Ring camera video came out. I have literally not seen any of his content since then, so I'm not keeping up with him whatsoever.
Are you sure about that, Buster? I was on the Rumble the other day, and I saw for some reason that a few weeks ago somebody had watched through one of Louder with Crowder's videos.
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know what the deal there is then.
Just assuming it's him.
I'm just really curious as to, like, what the fuck he said about that video. Because, like, I've watched a few, like, sort of, like recaps on, like, the whole fucking saga going on here. And I haven't actually seen a response from him about that whatsoever.
It's out of context.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm expecting here.
She says shit about me, too.
From what I've seen, they've been pitching it now as like it's a big conspiracy between her and Not Gay Jared, previous producer or whatever of the show, where they're
Right.
trying to just like cancel him.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if that's the case, was the video deep faked? I don't really see what it has to do with that.
I mean, you know, I don't think the video is all that damning, so
No?
whatever. No, not really.
It made you yourself stop watching him, did it not?
Yeah, but that's just because, like,
You know, it's just kind of damning is all.
no, it's not. I'm trying to, there was something specific he said that just made me like, but I can't fucking remember what it was. I think he just took an L at some point.
He said something like, I don't love you.
Yeah, exactly. He looked in the camera and said, Tanner Von Nikolai, I don't love you. Stop watching my content. I disown you. I'm like, oh my god. He's talking to
Unfortunate,
me.
my guy. I'm sorry to
God.
hear that.
Well, there we go. The people have been crying for more politics talk, so we gave it to you. Congratulations. You won't be hearing anything else from us until the election is kicking off.
Oh boy,
You guys should
oh
ask
boy, I
me
can't
about
wait.
politics. I have so much to say.
Dylan, who do you think Trump is going to pick as his vice president?
Who are the people who are running as vice president?
That's not how vice presidents work.
I don't know how this works. I don't know how that works. Does he really just get to choose whoever he wants?
He just...
Oh, okay.
I'm picking grandma. Come on up.
I don't know.
he just picks it. They don't run for it.
Oh.
They get partnered up with someone they don't like.
That's awesome. That's fucking hilarious.
I vaguely remember that being a thing, but however, it did reach my mind too late. I had already said what I'd said.
Bummer.
While we're on this topic, I suppose, Tanner, super delegates, based or cringe?
Super delegate.
I guess cringe. I'm trying to think of what the point of them really would be.
In case the people pick wrong.
Yeah, I don't really see a case where there's any use for them other than fucking over your voters. So, yeah, I'll say superdelegates cringe.
Okay, there we go. Happy we have that on the books now. Well, boys, now that we have that on the books, I'm ready to get some rating and reviews on the books as we hop on over to Guapish at the movies.
Guapish at the movies. Jackson, what we watched this week?
Our Patreon request this week, as requested by Annette Gant, was the 2022 film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And I guess I'll describe it. So we've got a Chinese mother, and she is a bigot, and she slowly stops being a bigot. Tanner, what's your haiku?
My haiku...
Hang on a second, I feel like that's, there's like a little more detail you can go into there.
No,
what else could I possibly say
What are you talking
about
about,
this?
Nick? You're always complaining about the summaries being too long.
Fair enough, I suppose.
My haiku, as inspired by Everything Everywhere All at Once, broken family, when faced with infinity, now see each other. Very cute.
I always ask this question just because at this point I feel obligated. How long did it take you to realize that the husband was the one Asian guy from the Goonies?
Holy
We never
shit.
did.
Yeah,
What?
we didn't put that one. I've heard that before, but I didn't remember it until you just told me.
I was listening to his list, but I was like, there's no way. I'm like, what if this is the kid from the Goonies? I'm like, he kind of seems like he'd be old enough. So I went to the cast and I clicked on him, and sure enough, the Goonies popped up. It was fucking insane.
Isn't that also like the only thing he's done?
No,
It's
he was
like that
also in
movie and this
Indiana
one.
Jones as well.
That's right,
Yeah.
he's Short Round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like those three movies are like it.
For the most part, I think, yeah, there was like a massive fucking gap between like this and the previous thing he had done when he was like a child actor.
Yeah, he's like a super C-list actor at this point. But yeah, his lisp is very distinct, and I could not figure it out. So I thought that was pretty funny.
You couldn't understand him?
I could understand him.
Okay.
His voice sounded like it did when he was a kid.
Okay. You said you couldn't figure it out. I thought you were saying you couldn't
I said I
understand
could
the
not
guy.
figure it out, as in I was obligated to figure out if it was him or not.
Oh, I gotcha.
There we go.
I like this movie.
What?
This is a little
Okay.
silly.
This movie pisses me off for one specific reason. That being that I think the first, 75% of it is just okay and pretty aggressively unfunny to me. It's not my comedy style at all. I just think it's really fucking stupid, dumb humor. I'm not a huge fan of that. It has some cool concepts, and then the last 25% is very emotional, and I really liked that part. I thought it was really well done. It almost brought tears to my eyes a little bit with some of the moments, especially when she was reconnecting with her husband after kind of finally accepting who he is. It's fucking good. They did a really good job with those final scenes. Unfortunately, I didn't like the first 75% of the film very much, outside of just kind of the base concept of what they were doing. I thought it was kind of cool, but it was just really kind of campy and dumb for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It really fucking sucks, because I think that when this movie is good, it's really fucking solid. Especially those moments, like Jackson said, the moment that hit hardest for me was when she was talking to her husband. He was giving her that whole speech of this is how I fight. You know what? I think that if I were watching this movie alone, it would have brought a tear to my eye. I'm just saying. I'm going out there. Tanner was talking the other day about how Nico and Jackson, you guys talk all this shit about how much you cry from things, but I haven't seen you guys cry once. I think a big reason for that is because I'm watching these movies with you guys, and so I have to hold those emotions back. If I were watching these alone, I would cry so fucking much from all these movies. Every movie we watched this week would have made me cry, in fact. But yeah,
That's
I think
toxic
that
masculinity, Nico. I can't believe.
Yeah, you want to see us cry? Let's watch fucking Clando. Let's get her done.
But yeah, I just think that, you know, it's a shame that, like, the last part of this movie is where it starts, like, getting really fucking solid, because by that point, it's just really feeling like it's dragging a lot.
I agree with your point that I really like the message of this movie. I am a sucker for movies where the point is that nihilism is cringe.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I think this movie is incredibly well acted. I think we have great performances all around. I think some of the jokes land for me. A lot of the really sexual jokes, I'm just like, it's too much, man.
We were going crazy for the butt plug scene, man.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
Yeah,
It
and the
really
fucking
just-
dildos when she kills those
Yeah.
guys using dildos. Oh, man.
It just feels to me like, wow, look how raunchy we are, and I'm just like, "Meh." You know, just fucking, I've seen this shit before.
Yeah. I agree. Like, as you
you're not-
as you
you're
folks
not-
know, I'm a big fan of sex. Okay, I love that shit. But like, it's just too overt here. Okay.
Look, it's a dildo! Isn't that fucking funny?
Women using their pussies.
Other than that, I like the humor. I liked a lot of the random stuff. It was mostly just the sex stuff that I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because it just screams to... It's part of the A24 syndrome that I kind of like. This movie does not offend me in the way that other A24 films does, though. there seems to be a much more organic heart to this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could
than
agree
those
with that.
other ones.
Yeah. Like, generally the weird shit I was fine with as well. I think that, like, you know, the obvious weirdest thing going on here, though, the fucking sausage finger shit, I did not like. That shit was gross, and I hated it. Yeah, I get the point that they were making with it, where it's like, yeah, even, like, in a world where, you know, people have, like, sausages for their fingers, there's still great things that they can accomplish with all this other shit. I get it, okay? There was a better way you can go about that without fucking grossing me out, okay?
Yeah, you should give them a ball sack on their neck.
Yeah, there we go.
Then I really would have gotten it.
Yeah.
Ayo.
I think it does a good job, despite being a multiverse story, of keeping things from getting too complicated. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think there was any point where I was sitting there being like, wait, but how does that work?
Right. I, unfortunately, have fallen into the realm of random shit makes me laugh. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't busting a gut laughing watching this movie. I have the very same reaction Tanner did, where the random shit, you know, that's my humor, but, like, the sex shit's kind of like whatever. I also agree with you, Nico, where it's like the whole hot dog finger thing, like, was completely overplayed, over-dramatized, and too much. And, like, the tonal shift between... I can't say the beginning and end. I guess I'll go with the 75-25 that Jackson was talking about. The tonal shift was a bit strange, and it shifted the pace, and I'm not sure if it was in a good way or a bad way. But I think the way that this movie handles multiverse, or multiverse theory, or however you want to say it, does it better than most movies, which is strange because it goes at it in such a bizarre way, in the fact that these people need to perform bizarre tasks to slingshot themselves to some multiverse or universe somewhere else that lets them acquire skills from said person. And what's really interesting, too, is that they have it to where it's, like, mind linking, where whatever happens to one person in one universe, like, say, like, for example, the lady's getting her ass kicked, but then she's, like, the chef lady in the other universe, and so whatever happens to her there, she's, like, throwing the egg at people, getting smacked and shit. But yeah, no, I also thought this movie was very well acted, and I liked the message at the end of it, where it's really your perspective on how you want to draw things. Like, sure, you can think of all these moments as small and insignificant, or you could pick one moment to focus on and cherish it and, like, make the most out of it. So I like how this movie has, like, the whole perspective shift, making you think, you know, outside of what you're bound to, I guess.
Yeah, I get that.
It did feel like it slogged on for a while, though. It was strange because it's not a very long movie, at least by standards.
At least by standards. I disagree with the pacing and tonal stuff you guys are talking about. I didn't really see that myself.
Boo. This movie is definitely, it absolutely suffered from some pacing issues, but, you know, this is a critically acclaimed movie, and it's got a BIPOC cast, so we're not actually allowed to criticize it. So, future me, please cut out any bad things that we said about this movie. Thank you. And as for that, does anyone else have anything to really say about this one?
Not significantly.
Not anything else, no.
Well then, boys, I guess I'll be kicking off our ratings here. I'll be giving Everything Everywhere All at Once an A-, I think. That feels like a fair rating to me. Dylan, how about you?
I was gonna say, since nobody else is gonna step up, yeah, that actually makes more sense to me than I'm surprised you rated it higher than me. I gave the movie a B+ myself.
I also gave it a B+. I think the not liking a good portion of this film definitely drags it down a lot. But I think the emotional side was really strong on that latter half. And then generally, I think the production quality of this movie was very well done for the most part. Outside of some like really minor gripes I have with it, but for the most part, this is a well-produced film. Can't complain about it.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, I think that, like, you know, somewhere in the A's, high B makes sense. Like, giving it an S tier might be a little crazy, but,
And that's why I'm giving it an S-, because I'm
Whoa!
crazy. I really like this one. Fuck you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I respect your opinions.
Thanks,
But
pal.
you are giving it an S-?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my actual rank.
Cool. Well, that lands it at an A- overall.
Whoa.
Holy
Cool.
cow.
Wowzers.
Wowzers.
Nico's pick of the week was the 2009 film Summer Wars. Dude, this movie stinks. Takes it away.
Okay. So Ty is just an average kid who one day tames a Digimon of his very own name, Agumon. Hang on. So Belle's mother died, and she's pretty sad about it. But with a bit of magic through the internet, she's able to find. Hang on.
Nico, I think, yeah.
Okay, so our main boy here, okay, he's a bit of a math nerd whose hot classmate hires him to come to her home to visit her family for a week, alright? Only this job's a bit more than he asked for. As it turns out, this fucking baddie actually invited him under the guise that he's actually her boyfriend, her fiance in fact, who she just wants to meet her fam and her, importantly here, her dying grandmother, alright? After a series of mishaps, he accidentally gives full control of the internet to a dangerous virus called Love Machine, who uses this unfettered access to wreak havoc in the real world using the Japanese internet. And, you know, eventually the Japanese are able to overcome this through the power of fucking, family, I guess, and Japanese Uno, I guess. Tanner, what's your haiku?
My haiku is inspired by Summer Wars. This is the same plot as Digimon the movie. Granny can get it.
That's so real, dude. That's so real. So, Summer Wars, as we alluded to, so this is another movie by, what the fuck is his name, Jackson? Who's this guy?
Mamoru Hosoda.
Yeah, it's another Hosoda movie. And this guy, you know, he made the Digimon movie previously, the good part, what is it, like War Games, I think is what it's called, Digimon War Games, that section of the movie. And he liked it so much, he was like, hey, I want to, like, flesh out this concept a little more, so I'm just gonna, you know, make a whole ass other standalone movie where I can really do that, and this was his attempt at it, and I think he did it pretty dang well, guys. I think we should give him a little round of applause, you know? Good job, Hosoda. I think that this is a really standout one for you, pal.
Boo! Fell off!
I think that this is a sweet little story. I like all the family dynamics, and I don't really care about the stuff happening in Oz all that much.
What the fuck? I get that, actually. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think the family is literally the only thing I gave a shit about this movie at all. I could not care less about the world-ending tragedy happening. I couldn't care less about Oz as a concept because it's just really fucking stupid.
What do you mean it's stupid? What's so wrong with it, dude?
Let's have the entire fucking world's everything rely on a single piece of technology that can be hacked in a day, not even a day, in a matter of hours by like 30 different people, including one autistic
55.
fucking Japanese quant.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it
This
currently
movie-
works, Jackson?
No.
No.
If someone gained access to the entire internet, then wouldn't they be able to wreak havoc like this?
What does that even mean, though, to have access to the whole internet?
Yeah, to the
That's not
whole
even a
internet,
thing.
dude.
Everybody has access to the entire internet, Nico.
Yeah, but if they could control the entire internet, man.
Just doesn't. Yeah, I agree with Jackson. This movie is aggressively contrived and convenient.
Yeah. And it makes me not really want to pay attention to anything. Like, this is literally just like a little family comedy. I don't even really care that much about the drama that's going on behind it at all. The family didn't really do a ton to endear me that way. It was mostly that I think they're kind of fun to watch, and that's really all I have to go on. This movie also is very well animated, I would say. I think the music's really good. There's an FDRX7 in it. You know, I think it's generally speaking, it's a well-made movie. I just think the world building and the writing is pretty rough, and that drags it down.
And I simply disagree, man. Like, yes, okay. So, like, the characters, they're perhaps not the most fleshed out, okay? They might be barely characters, but the important part here is the family, as you stated. And I gotta say, they really do feel like a family. All these people are people who you yourself have interacted with, who you've had family dinners with. It's fantastic. It really just gives you that cozy, nice feel of like, man, this really reminds me of all those times when I got to hang out with my family, just like as a kid or something, and god damn, I miss it.
Nico likes this movie specifically because he's nostalgic.
Yikes.
I really don't have any other thoughts on the movie. I just like the family stuff. I think it's cute.
Dylan, say something about the movie.
The main boy reminds me of Shinji. The main girl reminds me of one of the anime girls from, like, Liz and the Bluebird or something like that. Oz reminds me of Belle.
There might be a reason for that, dude.
Yeah, weird. Crazy how that works. I don't know. Me and Jackson talked about this a little bit outside of here.
So we already tainted your view on it. That's a bummer. I really want to get your unfettered thoughts previously.
Not necessarily. I took nothing he said in mind. I actually forgot about it until just now. No, I mean, he says with each consecutive watching of this, he likes it less. I don't know if movies have that effect on me. I definitely still enjoyed this movie, but that's just because I like the emotional touches. I like you guys were talking about, the family dynamics. I like how randomly their family... Well, not randomly. I like how their family is big enough to where they got firefighters, they got doctors, they got cops, they got computer people who have access to supercomputers, they have a military intelligence guy. They have all this random stuff that they can just conveniently use in their hour of need. I don't know. I did find the concept of Oz contrived, like Tanner was saying, because it just seems like making an AI alternate sprite world or whatever to kind of do what we would imagine we can already do, unless for some reason in this universe they invented it for that sole purpose, in which case that's the only way it makes sense. I don't know, I got a little teared up at the end when, like, all the emotional stuff started playing out, like, the grandma dying and them being in a relationship and all that kinds of stuff. I really enjoyed this for the most part. The action and stuff is what I would have... I guess what I'm trying to say is this is the movie I kind of wanted Belle to be more like, instead of what it turned out to be.
Wholeheartedly agree, man. This is literally just Belle, but better.
I mean, I would definitely take aspects of both movies and combine them, more so adding more of this to Belle, but other than that, but that's kind of just my general thoughts on this. I rather enjoyed this movie. Like Jackson said, it's beautifully animated. The family's a great time to watch. They have a fun dynamic, that kinds of stuff. So I don't have too many.
One negative I will actually say about the movie, though. How does learning martial arts translate to the game?
It doesn't. The whole way they have the input system for Oz is, like, really fucking stupid, too. Like, there's fuckers playing on their flip phone and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Jackson, so, like, on this point, alright, I feel like there's a decent chance that you can, like, suspend your disbelief a little bit, and, like, what we're seeing, like, happen in Oz isn't, like, an actual representation of, like, what the people experiencing on the outside world is.
I was literally just about to fucking say that. Like, every single time we see them on it, it's just, like, some fucking Windows 96 or whatever that version before XP is, and Windows 95, like, basic ass looking operating system, and I imagine that's kind of what it is, and this is just like an artistic representation of what's going on in game rather than like what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So it's like menus, not parkour.
So it's like a Demon Slayer vein, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I don't know what you...
He's saying that, like, the fucking sweet elemental moves and shit that the...
that shit also sometimes also does shit.
Yeah, but, like, ignore that.
Yeah, don't pay attention when that happens.
Whatever. I got what I needed, I guess.
And I also like the design of the internet here, okay? I think it looks sweet. Especially fucking Love Machine's design. He looks so fucking rad. He's sweet as hell, guys.
I think the ending's fucking stupid, by the way.
That's because you don't know how Hanafuda works, Jackson.
It doesn't matter, yeah, we're gonna have I don't care, dude.
It's sweet, it's literally everyone coming together and, like, fighting against this thing. Everyone, just like in the Digimon movie, came together to fight against this great evil, okay? I'm sorry, dude, am I the only one who understands the complexity of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece, okay? Am I the only one who gets it, Jackson?
And before Nico gives it, like, a B tier.
I guess so. I was gonna say, actually, Jackson, I agree. I like how this, like, up until this point, they've just been fighting this guy. You got the sweet rabbit avatar that's been beating the shit out of everything. But then you end the whole movie with them playing a card game and ending it like some big anime fight scene where they're just like yelling and charging up a super move when really all they're doing is slapping down a card. I thought that shit was kind of stupid.
Somebody's never watched the Yu-Gi-Oh anime before, and it shows.
I mean, I have, but at least I feel like the stakes aren't as high in Yu-Gi-Oh.
What do you mean people fucking die in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Not in the anime I watched. Anyway,
what do you think the Shadow Realm is doing?
I don't know, just some alternate universe you can dump people.
You know what this all actually comes down to?
What's that?
Jackson didn't like that we watched the dub for it.
Holy shit.
That also is true. He did tell me that as well. I did not mind that. I prefer not reading while I watch my movie.
Right. Which, by the way, I think this is a pretty solid dub all around.
Yes.
I think it's serviceable.
It helps when you haven't seen the Japanese dub first, I will admit.
I've seen both. I prefer the dub, TBH.
You would.
And so, I guess I'll be kicking us off for the ratings here, boys. I'm giving Summer Wars, this critically acclaimed film, this fantastic Hasuda film that we watched, where we're really just blazing through his catalog. I'm going to be giving a B+.
What the fuck?
Holy shit, I also gave it a B+.
Hold on a fucking
Dylan,
second.
what are you giving it?
There's no way. Hold on. How is it that you gave a movie I thought you would have rated lower than me higher, and then a movie I thought you would have rated... Anyway, not important.
He's putting on an act.
Yeah, I am giving Summer Wars an A. By the way you were talking it up, you made it sound like you were rating it higher than me.
I think it's a good movie, man. This is Giguk, the anime man, not actually the anime man, the anime zone, I think is what he used to call himself. It's his favorite movie.
That guy's got
sad.
shit taste. Yeah, I gave it a B-. There isn't a whole ton to grasp on for me, to be completely honest with you. I think it's a pretty okay film.
Boo.
That is far higher than I was expecting from you, Jackson. I was expecting at least like a C-.
That is actually higher than I was
No.
expecting from you as well.
I would not go as to say it's a fucking C-tier movie. I think there's definitely, even just from an artistic standpoint, there's a lot that's holding this movie up, and I think the interactions between the family are pretty good. But yeah, generally it's just kind of a stupid, like, little fun, rompy film. I don't care.
What'd it get?
That lands it at a B+ overall,
Whoa.
unsurprisingly.
Nice.
Pog. What else did we fucking watch this week, dude?
Tanner's pick of the week was the 2000 film. For some reason, it feels like a fucking 80s film.
Yeah,
It
this
sure
film
does.
feels very old.
Yeah, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon film.
Dude, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So, quick question before I even do the plot summary. Who the fuck is the main character in this?
That's a great question. It's either the main lady or the young lady. It's one of the two.
I thought it was either the ninja girl or the monk dude, because he's the first one we see in the movie.
Just because he's the first one doesn't mean main character.
But and we also kind of follow him around.
I don't know if he'd be a main character. I think it's much more centrally focused on the girl.
Anyway, we've got this chick. She is... Fuck, I'm trying to think of what a succinct way to explain this film is. There is a girl. She fell in love with a boy once. She left the boy. She then got engaged to be married and also was trained by an old woman to get revenge on the old woman's enemies. She steals a cool sword, and then she runs away from her marriage to go back with the guy she loves, and there's some fight scenes to get the sword back, and then she kills herself. The end.
I don't know if she kills
Is
herself.
that a plot summary?
I think she just floats off like the old man in the story. But anyway, what's your haiku?
My haiku, as inspired by Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Zhao Sheng Hao, Zhang Guo, Jian Zai, Wo Yu, Bing Chiling, Wo Han, Ji Huan, Bing Chiling, Danshi, Sudu Yu, Jing Kui, 9, Bing Chiling!
That's not a haiku, that's a double haiku.
Yeah, that was 2 IQs in a row, don't count it up. Yeah, my biggest complaint with this film is the plot is hard to keep track of.
It sure is, buddy.
For the longest time, I did not realize that the princess girl and the ninja girl were the same person, and so that
What?
confused the fuck out of me.
What?
The action
Tanner,
scenes...
you even called attention to it at one point very early into the film. You're like, oh, look, she just realized that they're the same person.
Yeah, and I also feel like that was an
Well, I think
part of
up
the
until
movie
that
where-
point, I didn't realize it.
That was
But
super
that's
early
only-
in the movie. It was when she
Yeah,
fucking
it
dropped the
was.
glass and the lady caught it. You were like, oh, look, they're the same person. She's realizing it now.
Oh, I guess I fucking pointed that out and then immediately forgot that shit. That's funny. Yeah, plot is obtuse, I will say. The action scenes can be cool. They often become very goofy.
Yeah.
And hard to take
Chinese-
seriously.
Oh boy, do they really
in
love
there.
just like jumping around with moon physics in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should.
Not sometimes the wire work is cool. I am not anti-wire work. There's a lot of parts where it is not them fighting with like enhanced abilities, it's them running away in very silly manners.
Yeah, they
which
flew an
kinda,
awful lot in this movie.
Yeah, it kind of deflates the tension in a lot of these scenes. This movie is way too slow. What? Who? How? A 20-minute flashback? What the fuck?
I think I fell asleep at that part.
Huh? How did that make it in the movie? No one watched this and they're like, boss, should we really flashback for 20 minutes? Especially when the flashback, all the like vital information that communicated was that she met this dude in the desert once. That's like the only thing that we really needed to take away from the flashback. So why is it so goddamn long?
Dude, you needed to understand just how much they cared about one another, though, dude.
Yeah, show off how unfair her life was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with the pacing of this movie. It's so slow, and like I said, I think I fell asleep around the flashback part, and I was like, God, I need to go back and try to make it through this. And so I went back like 20 minutes. I was like, surely, or I don't even remember, but I was like, surely I'm here, and I ended up rewinding like half an hour plus because I guess I just fell asleep for that long trying to watch this. Yeah, the wire usage was a little high. I like how they were so enamored with, you know, the running and the flying and the scaling impossible walls. I'm not saying it wasn't cool to watch, but at some point, there's a line of immersion you get when you're in a movie, and they cross that so early on. And at that point, when I got later in the movie, I was like, I just expect them to just fly everywhere, I guess. On top of that, it makes me realize how much of, like, the fighting styles and, like, weaponry that I usually recognize with Eastern culture actually comes from the Chinese, like, culture. So I am heavily misconstrued with a lot of information, apparently. But, yeah, I found this plot kind of hard to follow. And I don't know how to rate the acting, because I don't know how I mean, it was fine, I guess. I don't think this movie was terrible. I think if you really were into the plot at all, it was okay. But I didn't understand the ending where she's like, oh, do you remember where we met? And he was like, in the desert, and then she jumps off, and the ending literally means nothing. I don't know what I'm supposed to get from any of the movie at that point. It all amounted to nothing in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused by the ending too, because like obviously it's a reference to the story where like, oh, the guy jumped off the thing and his wish was granted, but like presumably her wish is just to live happily with that dude.
What she really wants is freedom, Tanner. That's what she wants.
I guess there's freedom and death. I thought she was gonna try to save the monk guy, but I guess that didn't end. Because she looked like she wanted to help, and when she realized she was too late, I figured like, oh, she's gonna jump off and save the guy's life, but then like live freely. But then also the other guy's gonna jump off, and then they're gonna float on into eternity forever together. And then none of that happened. I was like, so what happened? What happened here? What am I supposed to take from this? I'm realizing now I'm not as high on this movie. I'm gonna have to rethink my rank. My rank is obscene based on how I'm talking about this movie.
We're gonna get fucking flamed, by the way. People love this movie, and
It's not a bad
don't.
movie.
I
It's
disagree.
You're right, it's not bad, but like I don't see where all this fucking acclaim is coming from. Like the what was explained to me is that this is the first wuxia film, which is a style of kung fu film from China. This is the first one that got released in like American theaters. And I guess it's just like because this is the first time people were exposed to this shit, they were like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. And I've seen cooler action scenes. I've seen
Tanner,
more
that's not
epic
fair. If it's the
tales.
first time it happened, then you can't criticize it, man.
Well, it's not the first time it happened. It's just the first time people in America fucking saw it.
Ad hominem.
Go kill yourself.
I'll be honest, I really don't think that I can fairly rate this movie, considering I could not really retain anything that happened throughout this shit.
Fair enough.
But you know what? I'm gonna give it my best anyway.
Go for it, dude. We're listening.
Well, hang on. Don't we have more thoughts to say about it, Jackson?
Oh, you were gonna skip right to the rankings. I see.
He literally has no thoughts. Head's empty.
Gotcha.
This movie's fantastic. I think it's very well acted. I think the set dressing is very good. I think the plot is very easy to follow. This is basically Chinese Romeo and Juliet. It's beautiful. I think the action scenes are magnificently done. I think they're flying through the air like graceful birds. It's gorgeous to watch, and I think it really inspires a lot within me. I really love the touching love story between our main character and her very handsome boyfriend. And of course, I hope the best for them, and I think it was beautiful that she did that touching thing to try and get a wish for him by killing herself at the end of the movie. Anyways, this movie fucking sucks. I'm giving it a D+.
Holy shit. Nico?
Dude, you're right. I love China. Let's go. China #1. China. Woohoo! Yeah, I didn't like this movie. I'll give it a D.
Yikes. I'm gonna give this movie a C for China.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll give it a C.
Crazy stuff.
For China,
Like-
China #1. Woohoo! We love China. Jackson, what's its rating?
It lands at a C- overall. Also,
Crazy
we
stuff.
didn't touch on this. We watched the dub, of course, because that's just how they release it in America, and it is fucking atrocious.
Dude.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Wait, that's
It's
what I was
so
gonna ask.
bad.
Because I was asking Jackson, you guys hadn't even watched it yet. Did it? And I understand kind of how the Chinese language works. It almost seemed like they were trying to dub in English by just moving their lips to what they would assume was the English
That's
translation.
usually how dubs work.
But, well, I mean, dubs are typically, they speak in their own language and then people talk over it. This just made it sound like they were moving their lips to what
I think you're
would
just
be
reading
the-
too far into it. I think they just did a regular ass dub. They didn't they didn't record two separate versions of the film where one of them, the actors were actually talking
Oh, is
Chinese.
that what
and
he
the-
was trying to say?
That's what it's what it seemed like to me. It was like they're, anyway, not important. Moving on.
Dude, I thought the dub was fire. You guys are crazy.
I didn't think it was bad. Literally, I think this movie suffers from the plot not being cohesive and the ending making no sense.
I think it suffers in every aspect of being. So, guys, speaking of films that suffer in every aspect of being, what films are you two jokesters going to be making us suffer through this week?
Jackson, you got yours?
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch this movie for a very long time. I've actually been putting it off as well for a very long time because I'm scared to taint the legacy of this song I really like, which was like the opening to this movie. This is also a movie that's by a studio I really like, and I didn't want to taint their legacy with just like generic schlock. But unfortunately, we're watching generic schlock this week. It's the 2017 film Fireworks.
Whoa. I thought he was going to say Shrek.
Is there a Shrek that came out in 2017?
No.
Okay.
Just like, prior to that, with the opening with the song he really liked. Somebody! Dylan, what movie are you picking?
I guess I'll leave it up to you guys if you can. Well, I don't know why this wouldn't be a movie. I'm gonna choose Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Which
version?
one?
Yeah,
God
there's
damn it.
probably dozens of
You're
different
just saying
versions
Phantom of
this,
the
dude.
Opera?
Listen, dude.
He wants
I
us to
don't-
watch the original play.
I don't.
Yeah.
I never.
Go find a version of it that you wanna pick, my guy.
It looks like the first one that popped up for me was the 2004 version of it.
That might be it. Let me.
You have a specific
Yes.
version in mind
2004 Phantom of the Opera.
too? Okay.
Sounds good.
You guys
dude.
are. I'm sorry. I never come prepared. I say a movie and I'm completely not.
Blindsided by his own
Aware.
choice.
Dylan is just completely unaware of any movies made before the year 2000, I guess.
Well, listen, dude. At least I'm cultured enough to pick Phantom of the Opera, right?
True.
Fair enough. Speaking of culture, Jackson, you want to roll that Patreon and find out what sort of culture choice we're going to be getting?
Oh man, I can't wait.
This week we're watching the 2000 film Castaway, as requested by Kyler. Thank you for the pick.
Wow. Thank you very much, Kyler.
Ooh, okay.
And if you too would like to request movies, then Tanner's going to tell you all about how you can do that.
That's right. If you head on down over to guapish.com and click on the Patreon link, or go to patreon.com/guapish, for only $1 a month, you will get early access to every episode, as well as exclusive access to our pre-Guap show, and you get access to the Discord where you can talk to us, you can request movies just like Kyler just did, and you get 500 slime coins, and you get your name read out at the end of every episode, just like I am going to do right now. Thank you very much to Slade by Jay, Blake, Nedagant, Kyler Nikolai, Uranium Infused Motor Skills, Top Ramen Man, Joshua Bean, Smegma Smoothie, Tutbot, Lucas Ledette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.